AC/DC the musical. It could be a lot of people chime in and go, "Oh, local theater's great. I love seeing Jersey Boys." Somebody said they used to sign for like the musical theater, which is cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty good thing here in Nashville.
Yeah,
they got some great shows here.
Mamma Mia. I was thinking of you today, Belle. There's a Mamma Mia Mosa weekend coming up because of Mother's Day. And I thought, it's going to be just ABBA and mimosas.
All right.
ABBA and alcohol go together like night and day.
Well, mimosas, yeah, absolutely.
What? Who's serving those?
We got to get him out there. That would be awesome.
I'll go.
I know you would. It's, so it's, the economy, we got a great jobs report today, right? So guys, we got this great jobs report. Everything's good, but tariffs are still out there, and they've got the new tariffs that went on last night. So at midnight, if you're getting anything under $800, that stuff is tariffed. So like if you bought a shirt and it normally costs $10, now that'd be $22. And by June 1st, it would be like 30 some bucks or whatever it is. So prices are going to start rising if you're going to see some stuff here, and it's going to take longer for things to get here. So the jobs report's good. I want to see what it looks like. Again, let's let it motor for a little while. But as I was saying that, you look out there and, we're just talking about the housing prices. People are still shocked, again, by the amount of money. And you're looking at some of these people, they're like, the American dream, that kind of thing, that middle class where you work this kind of job and you buy it, that stuff's gone. It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially if you borrowed money to go to school.
Yeah. And it depends on,
because you got 2 mortgages.
You got 2 more. You're coming out with debt. And now they're going to start asking you, hey, you pay it back? You haven't for 5 years. That guy's gone, so we're going to need that money you promised to pay us.
Starting on Monday.
And I think we're going to see a lot of people just default and say, I don't care.
Just file bankruptcy.
Yeah. But you can't get rid of that on bankruptcy.
Nope.
That's
true. That's true. Yeah.
So, and the frustration level of, and I get it, you told these kids, I think we sold a lot of these kids a bill of good. We made everybody go to school. Otherwise, you're never going to get a job. Now, all of a sudden, you're looking out here. You're going to come out with a degree, debt, try to find a job that you thought you were going to get $65,000 a year start, and it's 42.
Yeah.
You have to live with 6 roommates, and the chances of you buying a house anytime soon is not happening. It isn't. I mean, you think about it. If you're making $45,000 a year and you're 24, 25, you've got some debt. You think, I'd like to buy a house next few years. You're $100,000 away from just being able to get the starter home. That's without saving up money for the down. What do you do? I mean, it's not a lot you can do. Lottery,
baby.
Lottery. We're not even playing the lottery like we used to.
No, we're not.
We're not.
I keep hoping I'm going to find a cache of cocaine.
That'd be cool.
And I'll just sell it.
Boy, that subject changed like a whiplash, didn't it?
Because I don't think I'll ever win the lottery.
Okay, now I get it.
Oh, see what you're saying. Like,
I thought you just decided to start talking about cocaine.
We could buy a whole bunch of lottery tickets and see how we do. Or have you guys thought about moving some weight? And you know what's going to get yelled at? Somebody's going to go, I can't believe Chad said he's going to try to sell cocaine.
Chad is so pro drugs. We just can't listen to this anymore.
All you talk about is weed. All you talk about's weed, Chad. No.
We talk about cocaine, too.
We do. Yeah, yo. I get the frustration. I just saw the buy now, pay later grocery options are exploding. Think about that. Buy now, pay later grocery.
Buy now, pay later. So, like, that comes due in a month or something like that?
Yeah. So you're going out and you're buying, say, $200 in groceries, and rather than pay for it right then, you're going to make 4 payments for those groceries.
With interest?
Of course, probably with big interest.
Oh, man. No, I could not imagine doing that.
For groceries.
That orange is now $9.
For groceries. I mean, think about that. You're going to go and spend, like you said, you're making payments to the Cocoa Pebbles you bought 7 months ago.
Yeah.
That is not going to be a helper.
No, sir.
So inflation still kind of there. Tariffs aren't going to help. And we've got to be honest about, where we think this thing is going. I mean, I would love it if we woke up tomorrow and everything's great and the world's just a wonderful place. But, if we're sitting here talking about the fact that many of you are chiming in who are in your 50s and saying, I'm nowhere near owning a home. And you do okay. But you're spending $2,300 a month on rent.
Well, you were talking about longer commutes. I got a message from one of our listeners who said he moved his family to McMinnville. But he works in Smyrna, and it's an hour and a half drive for him.
And they're willing.
But they can afford where they're living in McMinnville.
Yeah, and if that's the goal, which is to own a house,
that's what you got to do.
That is, and I mean, you got to, that's somebody just said a little while ago that they're done. They said, like, I've been making this commute for an hour for like 15 years. I can't do it anymore. We're quitting. He goes, that's July 1st. I'm quitting. And I get that. That's what you have to decide. What is it worth to you?
Yeah. What do you miss? Like, let's say you have kids, young kids, like your kids, Chad, and they've got a little league baseball game or something like that. Good luck getting home in time for it.
Exactly. I mean, you're spot on. Like you said, it takes you about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, when I was in Arizona, I had 65-mile drive both ways. But
wow.
Yeah, both ways. So, but 50 miles of it was desert because I lived literally in the valley of the desert, the dirt people.
Yes, sir.
But still, when I got into Phoenix, it was bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
And COVID changed a lot of that, obviously. But still, I would, and I had this weird world where I was up at 2 a.m, there by 3, and to get home to like sometimes 8 o'clock at night, and it was exhausting.
Wow,
and I did that for 5-6 years. And I said I had enough. That's why I told my wife we need to live somewhere where, I can almost walk to work. And we do. But, we pay a little bit for it. And I'm willing to do that for now because we wanted to also, when you move somewhere new, you want to find, I don't know exactly where I want to live.
Right. You want to scout it out.
Yeah.
And you at least want to start in some place that's got some action going around. You're close to work, maybe you're close to restaurants, you're in the shopping area that you're going to want to check out. I mean, everybody has, you're having to learn the city and you've only been here 6 months. It's not like, every nook and cranny.
Yeah. And see the kids too, because my kids grew up kind of very rural, like super rural. When I mean with the Valley of the Dirt people.
You're out there, dude.
Yeah. Sheriff Lamb was our sheriff. And if you guys probably see him on TV all the time and Fox and stuff. And it's the kind of place where, my kids would be driving around with their motorcycles that in Phoenix they could never do. And the cops would just wave at them. They didn't care. So we were out there. But it is exhausting. And I tell people, man, and coming from California, it wasn't a big deal because going 5 miles in California is an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem with California is everything is an hour, but you can see your house, but you can't get there.
Yeah.
That's the frustration level. That being said, somebody just said, Nashville's going to become for the rich only.
I believe it, man.
At the rate this is, and we're talking yesterday about Freddie and this bizarre, we're not quite sure what 26%, who gets what. And, a lot of people are concerned too about being priced out of their own home because of taxes, which is another issue altogether. I still have no idea what the taxes, how exactly this is breaking down. So there's a lot to it, but life is expensive. And some people said, well, somebody just said it because I said the buy now, pay later thing is becoming a big deal at the grocery stores. That just seems like, man, that's,
that's stupid to do that.
Yeah.
It is literally one of the single worst financial decisions you can make.
It's hurting.
It could be
you.
finance your groceries.
Well, and we've talked about the debt crisis in this country. We've got record credit card debt already.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just eventually those bills come due.
And eventually you have to make that decision because I think pre-COVID, everybody had a little money left over, right? Their check. They weren't living paycheck to paycheck as much as they have been.
Yeah.
And they had a little left over, right? And then COVID hit and then it got really weird. And, then they gave you a whole bunch of money. Then after COVID, people started living more paycheck to paycheck, inflation, all the supply chain issues, and people extended their credit card limits because they wanted to live the same way, thinking it was going to be transitory, and now it's not.
Nope.
And it's not now. I mean, life is way more expensive than it has been for years for the average, and we've got it great compared to a lot of places around the world, but it is expensive, and it is frustrating, and we're a consumer-based nation, and right now consumption is expensive. You know what's going to explode, I bet, in the next couple years? More of those payday loan places.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
they'll help you out of your credit card debt. Of course, it's not really helping you. It's just kicking it down the road a bit.
So somebody said, don't California my Tennessee. You know what's funny? You know what California never says? Because about 4 people from California actually live there. Everybody's from somewhere else in California. Nobody ever says, don't Ohio my California. So settle down there. You go. It's so weird. Like you go to anywhere and you're like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from, I'm from such. Oh yeah, I'm from Ohio. Oh really? Well, I lived in Cincinnati. And it's like you go to a Cubs game in L.A. It's all Chicago, Illinois people.
Yeah,
bunch of wackadoos. You know,
Albuquerque was a lot of transplants because of the. Now I forget the name of that chip making facility there. Not Micron. It was something else. But anyway, there was a big chip making semiconductor plant. And I mean, they pulled in people from all over the nation there. So,
then you had an explosion of people coming sometimes from places that had more. Their housing prices were higher. So what happens? They come, they pay
they're
cash.
Paying cash.
That's right. They're paying cash. And
Intel. That was the name of it. Intel.
Yeah. Yeah, wait till we start adding certain things like that. Everybody talks about all the great businesses coming here. Well, great. When you start adding business, you think it's expensive now. Wait till you bring in major companies that are going to build chips or they're going to build computer parts and things like that.
Oracle. That campus is going to be, that's going to be something.
What do you think is going to happen around that place and everywhere else? It's going to explode. Property values. So, and I saw people yesterday out there, in front of, City Hall, out there, and they're upset. And I saw Pamela but they were talking about they're getting priced out of their own home. They're not going to be able to do it.
Right.
Pay their taxes. They have enough to live, and now their house has become so expensive. They can pay the payment, but not the taxes.
This entire subject matter just depresses me because it's like I'm never going to own a home.
Well, and here's the thing. They're not going to get much relief anymore, just like, say, going to Wilson, Rutherford, or Williamson counties.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
They're going to have to go further.
Yeah, it's like those were haven counties for people that couldn't afford Davidson, and pretty soon you're not going to be able to afford them either.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, when we first came here, I was elated we got an apartment, a 3-bedroom apartment for under $1,000 a month, man. I just thought,
wow. Well, you were in Boise. Boise exploded.
Yes, Boise did. A lot of Californians.
A lot of Oregons. A lot of people who's like, I'm done with Portland. I can't stand all this crap. I'm sick of people crapping on the street. You know?
You know what the number one complaint, though, from the Californians in Idaho was?
What?
Traffic.
Well, you weren't built for that.
No.
It wasn't built for 1 million people. It was built for 700,000 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Coming up, a lot more to talk about today. We'll talk a little bit about more jobs. A bunch of your texts coming in as well. If you miss any show, we say shame on you. Grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.